They never told you the truth about success, not in school, not at home, not in the workplace. They handed you a rule book written for workers, not winners, for obedience, not ownership, for safety, not greatness. They taught you how to survive, not how to lead, and certainly not how to build empires. But billionaires, they play a different game entirely, and they follow a different set of rules, rules you were never meant to learn. Because if you knew what they knew, you wouldn't be a cog in someone else's machine, you'd be building your own. If you knew what they knew, the system would lose its grip on you. You'd become dangerous, unpredictable, powerful. So listen closely, not casually. This is not motivation. This is reprogramming. This is the awakening your soul has waited for since the day you were born. The world's wealthiest minds, Carnegie, Rockefeller, Henry Ford, Oprah Winfrey, Jeff Bezos, Steve Jobs, Elon Musk. Do you think they got there by chance? Do you think they followed what everyone else followed? Of course not. They disobeyed convention, and they followed rules so sharp, so precise, so unbreakable, they carved their name into the foundation of history. And today, I will give you what they never wanted you to have. The 5 rules that only billionaires obey, not because they're special, but because they understand what 99% of the world refuses to see. But be warned, these rules are not easy. They are not comfortable. They demand transformation, not just information. They ask you to sacrifice your excuses and meet your higher self at the gate of possibility. And once you step through, you will never be the same. Rule 1, own the clock or die by it, 800 words. You were born with a time bomb ticking inside your chest. Every second, every heartbeat, every breath you take is another grain of sand falling through the hourglass of your life. And the one resource billionaires treat like blood isn't money. It's time. They don't manage time. They dominate it. They don't ask, how do I get more done in a day? They ask, how do I eliminate everything that doesn't move me toward power, purpose, or profit? Billionaires don't spend time. They invest it. Every minute has an ROI. Every hour has an agenda. Every day is a battlefield. Henry Ford was ruthless with his calendar. If you wasted his time, he cut you off, because he understood something school never teaches. Time is the only currency you can never earn back. Meanwhile, the average person scrolls for hours, distracted, consumed by other people's lives, other people's opinions, other people's dramas. You think you're tired because you're working too hard? No, you're tired because your life has no focus. Focus creates energy. Distraction bleeds it dry. Billionaires build strict boundaries around their time. No meetings without a clear outcome. No calls without purpose. No days without intention. They live by calendars, not clocks. They rise early when the world is still sleeping, because the battlefield of success belongs to those who train before dawn. If you want to think like the wealthy, stop asking what time it is. Start asking, what is my time worth? And more importantly, am I spending it on things that will outlive me? Because while the world trades hours for dollars, billionaires trade hours for impact. And that's the only transaction that multiplies. The second rule is brutal, but beautiful. Start building before you feel ready, because the truth is you will never feel ready. Not when it matters, not when it's big, not when it threatens the comfort you've been told to protect. Billionaires don't wait for permission. They don't wait for perfect plans. They don't wait until they've figured it all out. They act boldly, decisively, and without certainty. Look at Walt Disney. He had no roadmap, no funding, and no approval when he began drawing a mouse on scraps of paper in a roach-infested office. But he built anyway, because he saw something no one else did. He saw what didn't exist yet. Jeff Bezos left a secure, high-paying job on Wall Street because he believed in a vision that no one else could see. An online bookstore in a time when people still feared entering their credit cards online. They said he was insane, but he understood the rule. Vision must precede resources. You don't get the tools, the funding, the attention first. You earn them by stepping into the unknown. Steve Jobs once said, "You can't connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking backwards." So what did he do? He moved forward anyway. Billionaires build before the path is clear. They begin before the foundation feels strong, because they understand that clarity comes through movement, not before it. The rest of the world waits to feel ready, waits for the money, waits for motivation. But billionaires don't wait, they initiate. They build momentum, and momentum builds miracles. Ask yourself, what are you waiting for? Permission? Confidence? Some imaginary moment when all the stars align? That moment doesn't exist, but the power to create it does. And it lives inside your decision to begin anyway. There's a saying among builders of empires: the longer you wait to start, the longer you'll wait to finish. So start messy, start scared, start uncertain, but for God's sake start. Because while most people hesitate, billionaires execute. And the world doesn't reward hesitation, it rewards action. Rule 3. Multiply, don't trade. 800 words. The third rule is what separates the truly wealthy from the endlessly exhausted. Stop trading time for money. Start building systems that multiply. In school, they taught you how to earn a living, but they never taught you how to earn while you sleep. They trained you to become a worker, not a builder. Billionaires? They build systems, machines that don't need their presence to produce wealth. Warren Buffett once said, "If you don't find a way to make money while you sleep, you will work until you die." Read that again. If every dollar you earn requires you to physically be there, to show up, to clock in, to do the work, you don't have a business. You have a prison. The rich escape that prison through leverage, leveraging money, media, people, code, time, talent, networks. They create products that scale, platforms that replicate, brands that outlive them. When Elon Musk builds a factory, it's not because he wants to be in it. It's because he wants it to print output without him. When Oprah built OWN, her television network, she wasn't thinking about airtime. She was thinking about legacy, impact, multiplication. And while the average person thinks linearly, if I work 8 hours, I earn 8 hours of pay, billionaires think exponentially. One decision, one product, one scalable idea can change their income forever. So ask yourself, are you multiplying or just maintaining? Are you building machines or burning your minutes? Because wealth does not belong to the hardest worker. It belongs to the most strategic, the one who can turn effort into systems and systems into freedom. Your energy is finite, but your ideas are not. Your time will run out, but your systems can outlive you. Trade wisely. The fourth rule is quiet, but it's deadly. Billionaires think in decades. Everyone else thinks in days. You want to know why most people fail? Because they crave instant gratification. They chase the quick win, the shortcut, the easy dopamine hit. They want the reward without the ritual. They want success with microwave timing, without realizing that the greatest rewards in life are earned through slow, patient, relentless mastery. Billionaires move differently. They play the long game. They understand what Napoleon Hill meant when he wrote, "Patience, persistence, and perspiration make an unbeatable combination for success." When Elon Musk launched SpaceX, people laughed. They said rockets were for governments, not entrepreneurs. They said he'd fail, that it would take decades. And it did. But he stayed the course, because his mind was calibrated for long-term vision. That's the difference. Most people can't hold a vision for more than a week before they get discouraged. Billionaires hold visions for decades, and they build patiently, brick by brick, day after day, with unshakable belief. Think about a bamboo tree. You water it for years, and nothing happens. No growth, no movement, just dirt. Then in one season, it explodes. It grows 90 feet in 60 days. Did it really grow in 60 days? No. It grew in the dark for years, invisible to the eye, rooted deep beneath the surface. That's how success works. But school never taught you that. School taught you deadlines, semesters, test scores, short-term thinking. Finish this unit, get this grade, Move on. They never taught you to plant a seed and wait 5 years. They never taught you that the biggest dreams take time because they're worth it. Billionaires think like architects, not sprinters. They draw the blueprint in their mind, and then they build for the long haul. They're not distracted by daily noise. They don't flinch when the world laughs or doubts them. They don't fold when progress feels slow. They zoom out. They see decades ahead. And because they do, they're never shaken by short-term chaos. Let me tell you something. If your vision dies in 30 days, it was never a vision. It was a wish, a fantasy, a temporary fix for your boredom. But if it burns inside you year after year, without external results, yet you still rise, still grind, still believe, that's vision. And that's what billionaires obey. So stop rushing the process. The greatest things in your life haven't happened yet. And they're waiting for you to get serious about the long game. Forget what you can earn this year. Ask yourself, what could I build in 10? Because billionaires are not just rich. They're rooted in vision, rooted in purpose, rooted in time horizons most people are too impatient to comprehend, and that's why they win. Rule 5. Get obsessed or stay mediocre. 800 words. Let me make something perfectly clear. You will never become world-class at anything you're halfway interested in. The final rule, the one that fuels all others, is this: get obsessed or stay mediocre. And I don't mean inspired, I don't mean motivated, I mean so obsessed that your dreams stalk you in your sleep. So obsessed that you can't shut your mind off. So obsessed that people start calling you crazy, and you wear that label like a crown. Billionaires are not balanced, they're possessed by a mission. They don't seek comfort, they chase conquest, they don't blend in. They stand so far out, it makes people uncomfortable. Thomas Edison failed 10,000 times trying to invent the light bulb. You think he was balanced? You think he had work-life harmony? No, he was obsessed with solving a problem that would illuminate the world. People laughed, people doubted, people gave up around him. But Edison didn't flinch because he had something more powerful than talent. He had obsession. You look at Elon, Oprah, Kobe, Jobs, Buffett, they all have one thing in common: tunnel vision. And the world. So now you know the truth, the real rules, the ones they buried beneath the surface of textbooks, behind the curtains of corporate life, beyond the reach of most minds. Not because you couldn't learn them, but because if you did, you wouldn't need the system anymore. You wouldn't need permission. You wouldn't need a boss, a certificate, a gold star. You'd become unstoppable, a creator, a builder, a sovereign force capable of shaping your world on your terms. And that's the most dangerous kind of person in a society built on quiet control. Let them keep the old rules. Let them keep the safety nets, the routines, the illusions of certainty. You've seen the blueprint now. You've felt the pulse of what it really takes to rise above the masses. Own the clock or die by it. Build before you're ready. Multiply. Don't trade. Think in decades, not days. Get obsessed or stay mediocre. These aren't philosophies. They're not cute slogans. They are the atomic structure of all modern wealth. You can trace them in every great fortune. You can hear their echo in every empire. You can see them reflected in the eyes of the few who refused to follow and chose instead to forge their identity, forge their fortune, forge their destiny. But knowing these rules isn't enough. Understanding them isn't enough. Even believing them isn't enough. What matters now, the only thing that matters, is obedience. Radical, unwavering obedience to these principles. Because they're not guidelines. They're laws. Laws of success. Laws of wealth. Laws of transformation. Obey them, and the world bends toward you. Ignore them, and you live a life that never quite ignites. Half-lit, half-lived, half-loved. You weren't born for that. You weren't born to scroll through life. You weren't born to ask for permission. You weren't born to repeat history. You were born to write it. You have in your mind the same fire Edison carried into darkness, the same wild vision Disney drew into fantasy, the same resilience Carnegie hammered into steel. That fire is still there. It hasn't died. It's just been buried under years of noise, years of small thinking, years of quiet conformity. But if you're still listening, If you felt every word of this like a pulse through your chest, then it means one thing. You're not done, not even close. You've been chosen by vision, summoned by a future that refuses to arrive without your courage. And now it waits, on the other side of decision, on the other side of discomfort, on the other side of discipline. Will you follow the old rules, the ones that built average lives, average dreams, average regrets? Or will you dare to follow the real rules? The rules that break you before they bless you. The rules that test you before they trust you. The rules that will build you into something most people never become. Free. Free in your time. Free in your mind. Free in your soul. Free in your wealth. Because that's what this is really about. Not the dollars, not the followers, not the recognition, but the freedom to wake up every morning and know you built this, you earned this, you became this. So stop asking what if. Stop wondering when. Stop waiting for the world to approve of your rise. You are the permission, you are the plan, you are the power, and now it's your move.